one more day to go.
The fate of our nation.
The image of our country is terrible.
For the nation's future president to be elected. Security at high alert near the Capitol ahead of Election Day. Our DC Bureau is live. And a heartwarming moment.
It's overwhelming of all the love I got.
How kids in the neighborhood help out a special boy on Halloween. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Dylan Pizay.
And I'm David Lascano. Today is Monday, November 4th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Just one more day until the final votes are cast in the 2024 presidential election. We'll have more on the campaigns in a moment, but we begin with increased security at our nation's capital, including shops and restaurants near the White House with boarded up windows.
And our DC Bureau reporter Anthony Cruz is live at one of such businesses. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, Dylan and David. And what you see behind me, though it may not look like it, is a McDonald's, which, like many private businesses, has decided to board up ahead of Election Day tomorrow. This McDonald's is around 1 block away from the White House, which has also had fencing placed around it by the Secret Service, and other critical buildings in D.C. have also had precautionary measures taken place, such as the Capitol, Vice President Kamala Harris's residency at the U.S. Naval Observatory, as well as the site of her watch party tomorrow night during the election, which is Howard University. Now down in Palm Beach County as well, Secret Service is also working together with local officials there in order to protect President Donald Trump during his own watch party at the Palm Beach Convention Center. This election season, D.C. city administrators say law enforcement is preparing for the potential of, quote, large-scale riots and civil unrest, hoping to prevent anything near from what we saw on the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. And with the city expecting record crowds for Inauguration Day, regardless of which candidate wins tomorrow's election, D.C. Chief of Police Pamela Smith says, quote, the Metropolitan Police Department supports individuals peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights, but I want to be very clear. We will not tolerate any violence of any kind. We will not tolerate any riots. Offenders will be arrested and will be held accountable. As for businesses boarding up, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said, quote, people have certain risk tolerances, and I don't think they should be boarding up their buildings, but we're not going to give them that advice.
It feels weird because yesterday I was walking and was like, where's McDonald's? The only indication is the "We Are Open" sign on the door. It feels a little intimidating, but it's like if the city is taking precautions, someone else should too.
So despite these precautions, many officials in D.C. are trying to keep citizens at ease, mainly saying that officials have not found any direct credible threats to the city. And they've also said that polling locations are open at 6 a.m. tomorrow for voting, and that 3,300 eligible police officers will be working 12-hour shifts tomorrow to keep and extra security will be in place around ballot boxes and polling places in order to make sure that the election process does go smoothly. Reporting for Caplin News, live from Washington, D.C., I'm Anthony Cruz.
Today is the eve of election night, and one of the most contentious presidential campaigns in modern history will come to a climax tomorrow. As Caplin's Emma Alonso reports, the Harris and Trump campaigns are turning up the heat in this final stretch.
The image of our country is terrible. They view us as a failed country. We're going to turn it around.
Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris.
We have 2 days. 2 days until we decide the fate of our nation.
Locked in a fierce fight for every vote in the 48-hour countdown to what could be a very close election. With 2 days to go, both campaigns focusing on battleground states, where the stakes are high and the polls are tight. Meanwhile, a twist in the traditionally Republican state of Iowa, where new polling shows Trump is no longer leading Harris. Trump on Sunday bashing that poll and laying the groundwork to dispute the election results if he loses.
They are fighting so hard to steal this damn thing.
That baseless claim from Trump drawing ridicule from Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania.
I expected he was going to do that. It's not going to be effective, just any more effective than it was in 2020.
Meanwhile, security preparations are underway for Election Day and beyond. As a precaution, National Guard troops are on standby in several states for potential unrest, including Washington and Oregon. where police are still looking for a suspect they say set ballot drop boxes on fire. Hundreds of ballots were damaged or destroyed in these fires. Security around Washington, D.C. is also being increased. I'm Emma Alonso, reporting for Caplin News.
While the candidates were focused elsewhere, their surrogates crisscross the swing state of Wisconsin.
More now from reporter Michelle Fiore from WDJT.
What's the best thing that Kamala's ever done? And everybody goes,
Danica Patrick, former Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, and Sage Steele, who left her career at ESPN after controvery over vaccine masks, together in Wisconsin.
This was a great format to hear it in, something a little more personal rather than in a big arena.
Sharing personal stories why they believe America needs Donald Trump back in the White House.
Mark Cuban needs to see that there are 3 strong women that support Donald Trump.
When Barack Obama came into office, that's when it really changed for me personally. And it just seemed ugly and negative and divisive, and we're looking more at color than we should anything else.
this is a game-changing year for you. I also never thought I'd be a Packer fan for a couple of years, but that happened too, so.
Earlier in the day.
And for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
The crowd at the Baird Center estimated at 5,100. Former President Barack Obama urging people to get out to vote.
All of this is important to me. We can't change anything until we change ourselves and be part of the solution.
Obama taking up many issues in his 50-minute speech, including the border, and firing back at criticisms from some as to why the Biden-Harris administration hasn't fixed it.
Wasn't Donald Trump president for 4 years? Why didn't he fix it? If rounding up and deporting millions of desperate people is the answer to everything, why was the number of undocumented immigrants basically the same when Donald Trump left office as when he took office?
That was Michelle Fiore from WDJT reporting. The same surrogates for Trump campaigned in North Carolina last night. The surrogates for Kamala Harris have stops planned in 8 more cities.
And we're changing gears now. A music producer who worked with some of the greatest artists of all time is dead this morning. Quincy Jones, who worked with artists like Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, and Michael Jackson, died peacefully at the age of 91. Jones was surrounded by his family in his Bel Air, California home. Despite their grief, their family is celebrating his life.
A Gators fan was beaten by officers at a football game between the universities of Florida and Georgia this Sunday. The man, who remains unidentified, was with his wife and children when suddenly police came to remove him from the crowd after an issue with his digital ticket. When he refused to leave, officers beat and tased him.
The section they were at, they were actually on the very edge of the top of the stadium of temporary seating. And they decided to tase him and then push him over the seats and punch him.
There was no need for that, any way, shape, or form. I mean, you're beating a guy that's clearly older. He wasn't trying to fight back.
Much of the incident was captured on film, and it's currently unclear how long the man will be held for.
Newsbreak is coming right back.
And here's a look at what's still ahead.
It's amazing of what the parents have raised these kids to be.
A Halloween health scare has neighborhood kids leaving candy instead of asking for it. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
See us dream. See us remember. See us protest.
You matter. Your feelings matter. Your identity matters. Everything about who you are matters.
See us fight back. See us rebuild. See us shatter stereotypes. See us inspire. See us united. See us now.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
And a heartwarming story in Michigan. A group of neighborhood kids went all out for a normal night of trick-or-treating on Thursday, but rather than taking home all those treats for themselves, they came up with a better idea. They stopped to share with a friend near Detroit who they said needed them more.
WXYZ reporter Megan Daniels talked with some parents about the small act of kindness that had a big impact.
Amy Schmidt and her son love to dress up and hand out candy on Halloween. But after a medical emergency landed him in the hospital, a few neighborhood kids knew exactly how to cheer him up.
It's overwhelming of all the love I got. And I don't even know half of these people. I give them this.
Amy says she's been in the hospital with her son since Tuesday, but because she and her son love to dress up and hand out candy on Halloween, she didn't want the neighborhood kids to be disappointed.
I left a note just saying that my son was in the hospital. We don't have any candy, sorry.
She says she started getting notifications from her doorbell camera that there was movement detected. And when she checked it,
Tons and tons of kids are dumping baskets of candy out for my son.
It was the most heartwarming surprise for Amy Schmidt and her son Jacob. One of those kids was 6-year-old Mia.
When she was done with her first lap, she wanted to sit down. We were sitting at the house and she goes, "Dad, can we go out again?" I go, "Sure. We'll go out again." So all the candy she collected the second time, she goes, "I don't want this candy." She goes, "I want to leave it here." Put it right here.
Mia's dad, James Sayin, says his daughter made the decision completely on her own, a decision he says he himself was so impressed by.
She felt bad and didn't want anybody not to have candy on Halloween.
Amy says the parents of these kids deserve some credit for raising such kind young people.
It's just amazing of what the parents have raised these kids to be. To do that even without your parents there is just remarkable.
And Amy says she and Jacob can't be more thankful for their kind neighbors.
It was just so, thoughtful, going beyond that extra mile for somebody.
In Woodhaven, Megan Daniels, 7 News, Detroit.
Megan Daniels and her son say they plan to be back at their post next Halloween. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I am Dylan Bazay.
And I'm David Lascano. Get more news at any time at caplinnews.fiu.edu.